All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Hannah Kraus, and I'm the Growth Marketing Manager at Icon. Today, we're presenting the easy, affordable way to comply with the California Retirement Plan mandate. And just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. First of all, this session is being recorded, and we will share the recording with all registrants via email later this week. Second, if you have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel. We have reserved time at the end for questions, but don't hesitate to submit them as they come to mind during the presentation, and we'll address them at the end. So to kick things off, I'm excited to introduce today's presenters. First, we have Lisa Ross. Lisa is a former attorney turned marketer who specializes in early stage mission-driven startup growth and brand building. Most recently, she led the product marketing team at Human Interest, a 401k provider, where she focused on customer segmentation strategy. Lisa has led marketing teams at Rocket Lawyer, Everlaw, and Atrium, leading each company through periods of customer and product growth. We also have John Whiteside with us today. John loves sales and has a passion for building sales teams. He has experience scaling technology companies, developing go-to-market strategies, and the systems needed to support these initiatives. John also serves as a board member for Project Helping, which is a Denver nonprofit focused on mental health. So thank you both for joining. And from here, I'm going to pass it along to Lisa.
Great. Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate the introduction, and I'm just so glad to be here with John and talking about CalSavers and the upcoming deadline to comply with the retirement mandate. There's certainly been a lot of information put forth in the past few years and then really ramping up in the past few months as we near the June deadline to comply. You might even have a little CalSavers fatigue. So we're going to try to be really practical here and take the next 10 to 15 minutes giving you the information you need to know about how to be compliant. We'll also give you some tips on how to meet the mandate while avoiding high fees and a lot of administrative tasks, which no one wants to do. And we'll tell you a little bit about one of our customers who we helped meet the mandate. And we should also, like Hannah said, have time at the end for questions. So let's talk about how we got to the point where the state of California is requiring businesses, even very small businesses, to offer their employees a way to save for retirement at work. It's really because about half the workforce isn't covered currently. There's 81 million people that are not covered. And it might be because their employer doesn't offer a plan or they're not eligible, but that's the bottom line. There are millions of people without a plan. So you may wonder why people aren't offering a 401k, which has been the primary workplace retirement savings vehicle for some time now. But it was actually created in the 70s and adopted in place of a pension at a lot of large corporations. So that worked well for employees who were full-time W-2 workers. They stayed at one job for 20 or 30 years. The companies were well-staffed and actually had people dedicated to managing the 401k and making sure the employer met their fiduciary responsibility. But the issue today is that's just not the case for a lot of businesses, and certainly not small businesses. So 401ks work well in some situations. If you have extra funds, you can afford to set it up. If you have highly compensated employees who want to save $20,000 a year, and if you're prepared to take on that fiduciary responsibility and pay for fiduciary insurance, a 401k could be good. So I think we have a poll question here, just so we can kind of get to know who's listening and what their experience level is. So Hannah, do you have a poll set up?
Yes. So we're curious to know, of those of you on the call, have you ever managed a company's 401k plan? So we'll just give you a second to respond here.
Yep, get everybody in, and then we'll just give you a quick update on the results.
Yes. So it looks like 45% of attendees on the call have managed a plan.
Okay. So that's really interesting to know, because if you've managed the plan, then you're familiar with probably how expensive it can be to set up and maintain, the time it takes, 8 to 10 weeks, that it's complex and risky in a lot of situations. And having come from a 401k company, I can attest to those things. And for many businesses, it's just a matter of 401ks being too expensive. So and the fact they don't work for 1099 workers. I think that's really important to call out, because it's predicted that over half the workforce will be 1099 in the next 5 years. Okay, so on the next slide, talking about the retirement mandate, because America is facing a retirement savings crisis, many states, including California, they're stepping in and they're requiring businesses to offer their employees a qualifying retirement plan. And we're doing this webinar because we want to help small businesses as well. And we've been seeing small businesses really kind of coming to us looking for a solution that is an alternative to CalSavers, an alternative to a 401k. And we've been able to help a ton of them already. But it was in 2016 that the state of California passed a law requiring employers with 5 or more California employees to offer a retirement plan. And the state rolled that out it was a 3-year phased rollout. So if you've had over 100 employees, your deadline is passed. So pay close attention. It was 9/30 of 2020. And then 50 plus was June 30th, 2021. And now this last round is on June 30th, 2022. If you have 5 or more employees in California, you have to comply with the mandate. So in this instance too, we have seen some people who they're at 3 or 4 employees now, and they're trying to figure out if they are still covered by the mandate. For that, you can measure the number of employees by looking at the average number of W-2 employees that you reported to the Employment Development Department last year. And if the average is 4 or fewer, then you're not subject to the mandate. But on the next slide, you can see we laid out really, the businesses must comply by June 30th, 2022. And what do you have to do to be compliant? It's pretty straightforward. If you have a retirement plan, you need to let the state know. So you register with the state to show that you are in compliance. And if you don't offer a plan, you have to implement a qualifying plan or use the state-run plan, which is called CalSavers. Failure to comply, there's some pretty steep penalties. The first round of penalties would be $250 per person. You'd get a notice from the state letting you know this. The penalty escalates an additional $500, so to $750 for each person until your business is compliant. So it's hefty enough. We want to take notice of this and meet your duties to comply with the mandate if you have over 5 employees. Qualified plans, we've already talked about the 401k. That's one option. It works well in some situations. Also, there's 403bs for nonprofits. There's plans that are payroll deduct IRAs with auto enrollment like Icon. And then obviously you still have CalSavers, the state-run plan. So we actually had a customer come to us. They signed up for CalSavers and had some issues and wanted to make the switch. And we have a little video of our founder, Lori Rowley, explaining how we were able to help that company. We can't hear it. And I think because you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Let's try again.
Hold on, time out on that one. There's a company that has 200 employees. They're located in California. They have multiple offices. They had originally set up CalSavers to meet the mandate requirement. And what they found is they were spending a lot of time every month trying to upload rosters and employee data. And it was so time consuming and difficult for them. They actually switched to Icon because we completely eliminated that administrative burden on the part of the employer. And the benefit is that their employees are invested into a portfolio that's tailored to their needs. So it's a much better experience for the individual savers and easier for them to manage and maintain.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. So the employer responsibilities with CalSavers, they're quite extensive. So you have to register by the deadline. You set up the account at CalSavers, submit the employee roster, and then each pay period, submit the employee contributions and manage the changes individually. Then you have to also maintain an accurate employee roster. So when new employees are joining the organization or leaving the organization, you also have to update CalSavers manually as well. But once the employer actually uploads the roster, CalSavers will send a notification to employees to let them know that they have 30 days to opt out of the plan. So essentially, if they do nothing, they're going to be automatically enrolled. They do take this one step further as the contribution rate is set at 5% of for each employee with automatic escalations of 1% per year until they reach 8%. the employee themselves has to make edits to their plan if they don't want to automatically save and contribute 5% of their income in towards their plan. So we put together a comparison graph, taking a look at CalSavers, taking a look at the average 401k, and then what Icon is and how that stands up to it. Icon Savings Plan is a payroll deduct IRA, and it's designed to be easy to use for both employees and employers. We actually got some recent data from the CalSavers Retirement Savings Board in a memo that shared that 40% of their savers' identity checks were either unresolved or had failed. I actually just spoke with our CTO over here at Icon this afternoon, and we currently have an identity verification success rate of 96%, right? So when we're talking about being easy to use for employees, 96% of the people that apply for their Icon accounts are approved, and it's minutes for them to open up their account. We also, when we're taking a look at time to administer, integrations and technology are helping Icon as a technology platform make it really easy for employees to roll out Icon as well as manage it on a monthly cadence. I'd also like to highlight the different average fund fees for the different vehicles. CalSavers is actually putting the entire cost of the plan on the employee and their future investment. Icon's taking a bit of a different approach where we're leveraging an affordable flat monthly fee and an expense ratio of 0.06% compared to 0.89 or 401ks, which can be as high as 1.13 and higher. I also want to highlight that there's fiduciary risks that come with opening up a 401k plan. Icon and CalSavers are actually able to avoid this as they are offering the payroll deduct IRA compared to the 401k. And then when we're talking about matching contributions, that is obviously a big benefit to the employees if a company is able to afford a 401k and do a match. That being said, at Icon, we've seen some of our clients offer discretionary financial bonuses to their employees that allow them to then save towards retirement. So now, an alternative way to meet the mandate is through Icon, right? Icon is a pioneer in portable retirement savings, and our platform elevates and modernizes retirement savings plans for businesses and their employees. Icon was inspired by the 401k, but it's built for personalized savings, and it removes the complexities, costs, and risk from employers and delivers a low-cost, high-quality retirement savings vehicle. As you're thinking about what plans to use for your business, or if you advise your clients as if you're an insurance broker or an accountant, we just want to remind folks that start with what's important and provide a plan that allows for employees to maximize their savings through their retirement journey. Now, we did actually pull some data here on the next slide on our clients and some of our savers. Employers are really loving the automation with Icon. We're seeing plans be set up it takes about 2 days. We do have to verify the business, but it's a total of 30 minutes of work to get the plan set up and about 10 minutes on average to manage the plan. We also took a look at our customers, and we see an average of 70 people at our clients, and it's the 95% of the time it's their first time offering a plan. So we're reaching a lot of savers that have not traditionally had a plan at their organization. And then when we take a look at the participant data, this was actually shared with our team a few weeks back, and it's pretty cool to take a look at because we're seeing an average monthly savings of around $316. 1/3 of our savers, their income is less than $50,000 per year. They have very limited investing experience, and 61% have a net worth below $50,000. So we're really helping a lot of employees that have not traditionally saved for retirement begin that journey and make it easy for them to do so. We also, our founder has a background in behavioral economics, and we've built a really easy platform that allows employees to not make a decision around percentages, right? It's not, hey, do you want to save 3% or 4% of your income? It's a flat rate model where I want to save $100 per paycheck or $150, or, just give the employee some recommendations, but allow them to then tailor that towards their investing experience. And we are on to Q&A. Hannah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was a lot of great information. I'm sure very helpful to everybody on the call. It does look like there are a few questions that have come through here. So the first one, what type of investments are in Icon's portfolios?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hannah, we leverage ETFs through BlackRock and Vanguard with very low expense fees. So I was talking with our team, and those fees range from 0.03% to 0.06%.
Got it. Thank you. Another question, why is Icon so much less expensive than a 401k?
I can take that. I was talking about 401ks earlier. We built Icon from the ground up, and we're dedicated to actually solving a problem and by helping people save for retirement. So because of all the efficiencies and automation that are built into the product, it's not as expensive to maintain for us, and we pass that savings on. So it's really designed so that we can keep it affordable and meet the needs of small businesses, and we are helping larger businesses too, especially with their 1099 workers, or as an option to offer this in addition to a 401k plan. But the costs remain low, and that's something we're dedicated to.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Looks like we are close to time. If you do have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I did go ahead and drop a link in the chat that has a direct route where you can schedule a meeting with one of our retirement specialists. So please definitely go ahead and do that. And other than that, definitely feel free to visit iconsavingsplan.com, which is our website. We have been trying to make sure we're up to date on sharing as much topical content as we can around the mandate and other industry happenings as well. So thank you, Lisa and John, so much for joining the webinar today, and for everybody else on the call, thank you as well.